Hi guys, welcome to Check Your Leader TV. Welcome back for part 2 of the Battle of Lockdown Moor. Just a bit of a brief recap of where we're at. This is a solo game of Never Mind The Billhooks. It's based loosely on the Battle of Tewkesbury, but it's not working out that way. At this stage of the game, the Yorkists are on this side of the table. There are 4 commands in the Yorkist army. There's a group of mounted spears up on this high ground here under the command of Sergeant York. There is a battle here under the command of Edmund, Earl of Rutland, consisting of 800 archers and 800 billmen. There's also 2 cannons in the Yorkist army. The next command is under King Edward IV. He has men-at-arms and bow and bill and billmen, so there's about 2,000 men in this command. And the final command is under William Neville, Lord Falkenberg, and he has 800 bowmen and 400 billmen and 400 men-at-arms. Let's have a look at the Lancastrians. They've still got these men-at-arms here. They're in disarray. There's 2 units of bow and pike. They've suffered a casualty. These guys are still unscathed. This bow unit actually it's a bit deceiving. There's actually only 1 miniature there, which is 33 bowmen. They're in a terrible state, obviously, and they're under the command of Somerset, who commands this pike block here, and he's involved in a melee at the moment. The next bonus card comes up will initiate the melee here, and both forces are in disarray, so only the front ranks will fight, and they'll only hit on 5s and 6s. In reserve, the Lancastrians have this pike and mass crossbow unit. I should add that this command is under Exeter, and their final command is under Oxford, and he has 800 bow and 800 billmen. The bow are operating in one large company, and the bill are operating in one large company, as opposed to a bow and bill combination. They're massed all bow and all billmen. So that's where we are at the beginning of turn 4. So without a further ado, I should add, if you've just joined us here, go back, see the first video. It's about an hour long of the Battle of Lockdown Moor Part 1, and then you can come back and see Part 2. Alright, so let's crack on. One last thing, there are some house rules being used in this game, because this game of Billhooks is based on the Battle of Tewkesbury, which is considerably larger than the type of battles that Billhooks is normally used for. There's about 5,000 troops on each side. So I've brought in a couple of house rules. The first of which, and the most obvious one, is that leaders do not need to use one of their commands to move themselves. They can either use a command to move themselves during the turn, or at the end of the turn, they get a free move. So it's a case of either they use a command initiative to move to a point of emergency or a point of decision on the battle during the turn, or they can forego that and just get a free move at the end of the turn. Those that have played Billhooks would understand why I've done that. It's predominantly so that orders are used to move troops as opposed to move the leader, because the forces in this game are larger than you would normally have. The other thing I've done is, in the rules, any cavalry, either knights or light horse, that charge into the enemy, if they're not successful in their initial contact, they don't win the round and force the enemy back, then they must retreat immediately and take a disarray token. In this game, there's only 1 cavalry unit, and I've decided that during the game, if they charge or they move into contact with the enemy,
regardless of whether or not they win or lose the initial contact, they will stay in contact with the enemy. The reason I've done this is because the Battle of Tewkesbury, the battle itself was actually covered with lots of hedges, ditches and the like. So it's unlikely that cavalry, well, I've deemed it unlikely that cavalry would come into contact and at the first sight of not being successful, then would rally back and then charge again. It's more likely that they would pitch in, and once they were involved in the fight, they would either fight it out until they were defeated or the enemy that they've contacted is defeated. So that's worth noting. All right, let's get back. Let's get back into the game.
The other thing worth noting is the one thing I didn't do in the last turn was units that have not been activated but can fire should do so. So before we start, we are going to get a shot of bow from this unit here into these guys, because at the end of the last turn, this command was not activated. They did get a perk card, which meant that this bow unit did fire. However, this group of bowmen have not. They can only fire once. There's only 9 of them, so we'll start off with ending turn 3 with a shot from these 9 bowmen at these guys here, and then we will go back into the beginning of turn 4. So 9 archers here, firing 1 shot. I've already turned their dial to indicate that they've fired 5 volleys of arrows so far. So this is their 5th one. At that range, they'll be hitting on 5s and 6s. 1, 2, that one's cocked. Okay, just 2 hits. They're men-at-arms. Oh, sorry, they're billmen. Oh, no, they're men-at-arms. They're men-at-arms. So they'll save on anything but a 1 or a 2. Well, they saved them both, so no hits. So now it's the beginning of turn 4. Okay, so turn 4, just shuffling the deck now and cutting. First card out is, King Edward. Okay, so Edward's got 2 commands. He's going to give 1 to this bill unit here, and they're just going to cross the hedge, and as a consequence of that, they'll pick up some disarray. And then the next order will be to this block that he's actually attached to, and he's going to order these billmen through to the front of these guys here. Right, so that's Edward's move done. Next card out, Oxford. Now, before I do Oxford, I just noticed these guys have got a morale crisis test there. They have to do. So they should have done that at the end of last turn. So I'm going to do it now because it hasn't had any real impact on the game. So we'll just get that out of the way. Now, they've got 9 casualties on them, which is pretty desperate. So 9 casualties. They've got to roll 10 or better, or that bow unit is going to 3, which means they break. Okay, so that throws a disarray on the guys behind them, and they are gone. So they are out of here. Thanks for coming, guys. Those archers are no more. So that's bad news for the Yorkists. Anyway, back to these guys now, because it's their turn and their cards come up. So with that in mind, well, this is just too tempting, isn't it? So they're going to fire a single volley. Well, no, they're going to fire twice here, so that'll take them up to 5 shots. And the same here, 5 shots. That's going to be 40. Well, no, it's not. It's going to be
20 and 22 and 20. So 42 shots into these archers. So these guys here, they're down to 11. So 2 11s are 22. So 22 shots from these guys into them, and then there'll be another 20. So hitting on 5s and 6s. 1, 2, that's a cocked die, so we'll roll that one. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 8 so far. Followed by another 20. Nine, 10, 11, 12. 12 hits. So every single archer has sustained a hit. They save on 5 and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's cocked. So they've saved 5, which means they've sustained 7. So that's going to be a morale crisis test for them. Also now, geez, this massed archery is pretty brutal. Maybe Falkenberg shouldn't have advanced. Maybe he should have stayed back. Okay, so that's Oxford done. Next card out, bonus, which is the melee will continue, but we roll for the bonus card first. And white will be York. Oh, it's a double 1, which means neither side gets it. Okay, so it's just that hand-to-hand fight in the distance that we need to sort out. Okay, so this is the melee we've got to sort out. Let's have a look at the Yorkers first. There's 4 men-at-arms still standing. So 1.5 dice per man, so they get their 6. So that's 6 dice for them. For the pike block, they've got 6 in the front rank, so that's 6 men. That's all they get because of the disarray. In addition to that, they get 3 automatic hits from Somerset. So let's do them first. Hitting on 5s and 6s. Okay, that's a lot of hits. So they've got 6 out of 9. That's a good effort. Okay, the men-at-arms hitting on 5s and 6s. Oh, they got 1. All right. So let's do the save for the pikemen. They save on 4+. Okay, so they've lost 1 guy, so he goes down. And the men-at-arms save on anything but a 1 and a 2. Okay, they lost 1 guy. They saved all the rest, so they've lost 1 as well. So it's a tie, so they will continue to fight on the next bonus card that's drawn. But the men-at-arms will have to do a morale crisis test because they are below half strength. So, yeah, it's really going to come down to if these guys can hold. If they can hold long enough for these guys to swing in, yeah, that'll be interesting. Okay, so that's that done. Next card out. Oh, Somerset. Well, he's in that melee fighting for his life, so he can't do anything. He's just tied up fighting like a banshee. Next one out. Falkenberg. Oh, okay. Falkenberg, what are you going to do? You're in a bit of a bind here, lad. Well, Falkenberg's got two commands. The first command is going to be to remove the disarray from this unit. The second command is going to be to tell these archers to move back through the billmen. Now, I believe that will cause them to pick up a disarray, but that is probably preferable. And I think it might even give disarray to those men-at-arms, but we'll have to check on that. Says here, moving through friendly troops. Troops can move forwards or backwards through friendly troops with no penalty if they have the same arm, i.e. infantry can move through infantry or cavalry can move through. Otherwise, both units receive a disarray token. Well, they're both of the same arm, so they don't pick up a disarray token. That said, they have crossed the hedge. So they will pick up a disarray token for moving backwards, but also because they've gone, not because they're moving backwards through the friends, but because they've crossed the hedge. So that's that taken care of. And if they do fail their test, at least they won't be fleeing or routing through friends. So that's why that was so important. Next card out is Rutland. Okay, so Rutland has two orders. That's Somerset's men-at-arms. So he's not real worried about them charging him because Somerset's card's already come up. And Somerset's also in a melee. So these guys are pretty much static. There's not much they can do because Somerset is too busy bogged down. So he's going to order these archers, both archers, to fire. That will loose the last of their ammunition, so that's all gone. They've got 3 casualties on them, so that's going to be 9 from them and 12 from them for a grand total of 21. Okay, so 9 shots from these guys, 12 shots from these guys, hitting on 5s and 6s. 1, 2, 3 hits from these guys. 1, 2. Jeez, the shooting from these guys have been. These must be levy archers or something. Their shooting's pretty ordinary. So 5 hits, and the men-at-arms will save on a 1 or a 2. Well, there's 3 that they didn't save, so they saved 2. So they'll take 3 casualties. So even though they didn't get many hits, the hits that they did get has caused some distress for those men-at-arms. Okay, so the next card out is bonus. All right. Let's see who gets it. White is York. York gets it. So I think they've received almost every bonus card. Oh, they get a reroll. It's got to be used in this turn because when I'm playing solo, well, bonus cards have to be used in the turn that they're. That will probably be saved for the morale crisis test on those guys over there, on Falkenberg's archers. Next card out, Exeter. Okay, Exeter's lads in the rear with the gear. Let's see what they do. Well, Exeter has 2 commands. The first one's going to give to these guys to remove the disarray because of the fleeing archers. The other one he's going to give to this block here of bow and pike. And they're going to move once to this point here. And they will shoot. One lot of arrows at those archers to their front. So there's 12 archers there at that range. It's at 9. Well, it's just over 9. So 12 shots hitting on 6s. Not a single hit. Okay, so the next card out.
Lancastrian skirmishes and artillery. Well, they've got a cannon over yonder, and they'll be shooting at some billmen. So the cannon will fire. So 6 dice from this gun hitting them. They hit on 6s. Oh, look at that, 3 1s. So the cannon has exploded. Well, the 1s take precedence over the 6, so if it was, that's why the 6 doesn't even count as a hit, because the gun's exploded. So that gun is exploded. So, next card out. So the next card out is Yorkist Skirmishes and Artillery, which means we don't turn this card, which would have been the Cavalry. So the Yorkist Skirmishes and Artillery, well, they've got 2 cannons. One right here, and they've got another cannon over there. Now, they can shoot through here at those guys. So that's what they're going to do. So the first cannon here, shooting across at these archers, hitting on 6s. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Yahtzee! Okay, but no hits. That's okay. So no hits there, which leaves the next cannon to fire, which will be this one here, shooting at the combination bow and pike to their front. No 6s, only 1 1, so no hits there either. And that ends turn 4. So we have some morale crisis tests to do. So we're going to do, the first one we're going to do is for the men-at-arms here. Okay, so they need a 10 or better on 2d6. 7. If they fall back, they'll fall back daunted, and that will allow these guys to follow up into those archers. That said, those archers are fresh, but they will be disarrayed. So we'll take that. So these guys are going to go back 9 inches facing the enemy. It almost takes them off the table, but not quite. Oh, about half an inch in it. Now the pike can choose to follow up. I'll come back to them in a minute. I'll just do the morale crisis test for Falkenberg's archers. Now they've got 7 casualties, so they need a 7 on 2d6, but they do have the reroll. 7, that's equal. They've got to beat it. 7 again. Ah, damn. All right, so they fall back 9 inches and are daunted. Now Somerset has an option here, because this unit has a leader attached. They can follow up, or they can choose not to follow up. And I think it would be common sense at this stage that Somerset would not follow up, especially when he's surrounded by a unit of billmen on his left flank, and he's got units that need his assistance elsewhere. So he's not going to follow up. Okay. Now the only other morale crisis test we have to do is for these guys here, and unless they roll a 12 on 2d6, they're gone. No, they're gone. So they're out of the fight as well.
So at the end of turn 4, we now do all the free moves for the leaders, and we remove smoke, and we do free moves for leaders, remove smoke, and put command tokens back under their appropriate commanders. So Lancaster is going to, Exeter is going to move it to a central position there. Somerset is going to disengage from this unit and move to a central position over here. Actually, you might be able to join these men-at-arms. Okay, so at the end of turn 4, Somerset has moved from this unit and joined his men-at-arms. Exeter is in a central position there, and Oxford is, nothing's changed, he's staying where he is. He's got that special event. He's going to give each of his, it basically says that once a unit is down to just one shot of arrows, he can give it another 2 shots. So I'm going to give this company, because it's a very large company, I'm going to give 1 shot each to these companies. All right, so we'll take care of that. So they've only got 1 shot each left as it stands, but they're going to have 2 shots each left. So that 5 will come down to 4. And that 5 will come down to 4. Okay, so that special event card's been used. Falkenberg, he is basically just staying where he is. All the smoke's been removed from the guns. There was 1 handgunner left from the handgunner unit, but any skirmishes, it's just a house rule, any skirmishes that are reduced to just a single figure, I just declare that they disperse. I mean, they'd have to be exceptionally brave chaps after seeing 5 out of every 6 of them cut down. So, yeah, a single handgun or a single bowman, a single kern, no, they're out of there. Okay, this gun is being destroyed. It's nothing but wreckage now. And so now we're going to move on to turn 5. So both sides started with 6 coins. The Lancastrians have lost a unit completely, so that was daunted and then broke. So that's 2 coins to the Yorkists. But the Yorkists have lost a unit also, so 2 coins back, and they also have 2 units daunted. So the battle has swung in favour of Lancaster at this stage. Okay, turn 5, first card out, Falkenberg. All right. Okay, so it'll be 11 dice at these guys and 10 dice at these guys. We'll do the 11 first at the Billman, hitting on 6s. Okay, 1 hit. That leaves 10 dice at the men-at-arms, hitting on 6s. 1, 2, 3. Okay, these guys save on 4+. Nope. So they take the casualty. These guys save on anything but a 1 or a 2. 1 casualty. So chip, chip, chip away. Next card out is bonus. York is white. This time the Lancastrians get the bonus card. It's the dummy card. Now when playing solo, I just use a dummy as a, there's actually no bonus at all. Because the dummy card's obviously not much good in a solo game. So that's that. Next card out. Lancastrian skirmishes and artillery. Well, there are none, so I might as well take that card out now. Next card out. Exeter. Okay, so Exeter's got 2 orders. He's given one to these guys here, one to them. The first order here, he's going to get them to fire twice. I've already turned their shooting dial up to 3 now. So that's 24 dice hitting on 6s, and they're obviously shooting at those archers to their front. 24 dice, 1 hit. So 1 hit on those archers, the opposite number. They save on a 5 or a 6. 6, they saved. All right, these guys here, they could shoot at those guys on the hill. Instead, they'll just advance towards them for 1. And then they'll fire 12 shots, hitting on 5s and 6s. No hits with that 6. Another 6. 1 hit. Their cavalry in a woods, they take a hit. So one of the cavalrymen has taken a hit. Okay, so that's one less cavalryman out of those ranks. Next card out. Oh, it's Sergeant York. Right. Okay, so Sergeant York has a opportunity to move now, and so what he's going to do is charge. Now, he's coming through woods, which means he only gets 4 inches of movement. 1, 2, 3, 4. But he gets a charge bonus of 4 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4. So his first move will get him to a point here. Now that means that the men-at-arms that are being charged have an opportunity to react, and the way they will react is they will turn to face. And then these guys go in, or their second half of their move. Now, they've come out of a woods, so they're going to be charging in disarray. But the men-at-arms are already in disarray because they haven't been able to rally from those archers fleeing through them. Okay, so we now need to resolve that combat. Okay, so how many dice does each side get? So these men-at-arms, they've lost 3 men so far, so they're just down to 9. But they only get the front rank, so that's 6. But they get, it's 1.5 dice per man, so that's 9 all up. Okay, so they've got 9 dice, plus they get the 3 for their leader. So that's what they get. And the cavalry, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 7 of them plus a leader. But they only count 4 because they're in disarray. You only count half. But you do get 1.5 dice per man, so that's up to 6. Now, normally when they charge, they get to re-roll 1s. And they get to re-roll any misses. But because they're in disarray, they get no re-rolls. Okay. So it's going to be a big ask for the cavalry. But we'll see what happens. Okay, so we'll roll for the cavalry first and see what they do. Okay, they're hitting on first round of melee. They always hit on a 4+. 1, 2, 3. 3 hits for them, and then the men-at-arms and their 4+. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they got 6 hits. The cavalry will save on, pretty sure cavalry save on a 4+ in melee. Yep, it is a 4+ that they save on. 1, 2, 3. So they've lost 3 men. The men-at-arms save on a anything but a 1 or a 2. Well, they save 2, so they take 1 casualty. So it's 1 casualty on the men-at-arms. It's 3 casualties on these guys here. So that's a grand total of 4 casualties on these guys so far. So they have to do a morale crisis test because they lost the melee. So they need to roll 5+. Okay, so cavalry roll 1d6 and then just add 1. So they're going to need at least a 4 on this because they need a 5+. 6. Okay. Oh. Okay, they got it. And as I stated at the beginning of this video, this is where my house rule kicks in, where the cavalry, rather than retreating after not winning a melee, they actually stand and fight. Card out is King Edward. Okay, King Edward's got 2 command tokens. What to do? One token, he's going to give it to, well, he's attached to these billmen, so he's just going to swing in behind these guys here and take the archers with him. That 3rd rank. He's going to be in the fight, and his other command token, well, nothing's in range, so he can't really use it. So that's all that we're going to do there. Now, they're easily within the initial move, and well, I think they still get to turn to face anyway. Oh, actually, no. If you can get them in the flank on a single turn, they don't get to turn to face. So yeah, that'll be a flank attack. Okay, so the billmen get 12 dice, plus they get 6 for the supporting archers, and they get 2 automatic hits on them from the leader. So that's 18 dice, re-rolling 1s. Hitting on 4+, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then there's 1, 2, 3. So 6 hits so far, and they've got 3 1s and another 2. So that's 8 hits, 9, 10 hits all up on the pike block. The pike fight back with half a rank, so 3 dice, and they got 2 hits on the men-at-arms, the billmen. So we'll do the 2 saves for the billmen. They save on 4+. They saved 1, so the billmen take 1 hit. So 1 hit on the bills. 10 hits on the pike. They save on 4+. Oh, that's a cock dice. 1, 2, 3. They take 3 kills. They saved a lot, but they take 3. So they have to do a morale crisis test. 1 unit's completely wiped out. geez. So that's going to be... They rolled a 10, so they've passed. There's not many of them left. They've actually lost over half of the whole block. But they're hanging in there. But they're over half strength. Yeah. All right. So that's Edward done. The next card out is a bonus card. So white will be, grey will be the Yorkists, black is, so the Yorkists get it because they rolled a 3. The bonus card that they get is a special event. All right. The special event card that they have drawn. A sudden heavy rain shower. No shooting except for javelins for the rest of this turn. Okay. So now there's a downpour, so there's no shooting to be had for the rest of this turn. Okay. Next card out is Somerset. Well, he's busy fighting for his life. Next card out is Rutland, which is these guys here. So what's Rutland going to do? Well, I think it's safe to say that he's probably going to pitch in over there. So with his 2 commands, he's going forward with this pike block, these men, billmen here, and his second order was to give to these guys to attack them. Now that means, because it's over 6 inches away, these archers can evade. So on a 1, 2, or a 3, they fail to evade and they'll have to fight. Okay, so he's hit the archers. Over here, the cavalry have to do a morale test. Now they have to test because it's an ongoing melee. They might think that they're getting attacked by their in the flank by enemy. So okay, so let's do that. So it's a D6 plus 1. They've suffered 4 casualties. All right, let's see what they roll. 6. They've passed. Okay, so they're okay. So these guys will get attacked in the flank, and these guys will fight with only 6 dice because archers fight 2 ranks deep, but they only get half a dice per man. So it's 6 for the archers, and for the billmen, they get 6 dice, but they get to they get 12 dice, but they get to re-roll any 1s because they're charging. Okay, so let's do the billmen first. Let's do the archers first and see how many hits they get. Hitting on 4 plus, 1 hit. Okay, and the rest were 1s, 2s, 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, okay. Now the billmen, so 1 hit on these guys so far. The billmen, 4 plus, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2 1s that they get to re-roll. and they're 2 5s. So that's a grand total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 hits on the archers. Okay, the archers will save on 5 plus. So no saves. So 7 hits on those archers. And the billmen take 1 hit. They save on a 4 plus. And they save, so no hits on them. So the archers lost that. So it's a morale crisis test. They need 8 or better. 6. Okay, so they are daunted. So they go back 8. Facing this way. The pike also go back, but are separated by an inch. And these chaps must follow up. So now we have 12 guys here. There's 2 automatic hits from Rutland. 12 dice hitting on 4 plus, re-rolling 1s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 1 1 there. 6 hits. So 6 plus 2 is 8. So that's 8 hits on the men-at-arms. They'll save on anything but a 1 or a 2. So they've taken 1 hit. They're now up to 5. They only fight back though with the single rank, but they're disordered. Or half a rank, sorry. So that's 3 men. But they're in disarray. They get 1.5 dice per man. They hit on 5 plus because it's their second round of combat. So they've hit 1 guy here. They save on 4 plus. Nope. So they've taken a casualty as well. Somerset is in there fighting for dear life. Which means the last card that was in the deck was the Yorkist, Skirmishes and Artillery, but we don't play that. So that ends that turn. The down 4 is now stopped. There's no more rain because the special event was just rain for that 1 turn and the turn's over. But what that does is it... well, let's see where we are in regards to the score now. Well... 2 daunted units, so that's another 2 coins to the Yorkists. 5-7 the Yorkist way. So it's a delicately balanced, but I think as we go into turn 6, it's all going to come to a conclusion there. So we're now gathering any smoke. Well, there's no smoke from it because no guns fired. So now we just gather in the command tokens for the relative commanders. And we move leaders in. We give them their free moves. And we do any end of turn morale crisis tests for units that are below half strength or at half strength or below. Okay, so to that end, the cavalry, they roll a d6 and they get just +1 to it. And they've had 4 casualties, so they've got to get, they've got to get 6 or better on 1d6. +1. 5 +1 is 6, so the cavalry's okay. They have this one for a unit below half strength, so they need a 10 or better. Okay, that one's cocked. It's on the base. Okay, so they've failed, so they're gone. And they also have a unit of archers that are at 7, so that's below half strength. But they've rolled a 10, so they're okay. So the score is, at this stage, 9-3 in the favour of the Yorkists. And we're up to game turn 6. And I'm pretty sure this will probably be the last turn. Okay, so we shuffle the deck. First card out, game turn 6. York, well, he's fighting. Falkenberg, well, he's over yonder. Well, for one command, he's going to rally the unit. And the next card we draw is the bonus card. So let's melee. Okay, so 11 Billmen plus King Edward is in the fray. So he'll give 2 automatic hits onto the pike. 11 to 11. Both hitting on 5s and 6s. Billman first. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 hits. So that's a grand total of 6. And then 11 from the pikeman back. Hitting on 5s and 6s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so 5 hits on the Billman. Okay, 5 hits, saving on 4+. They saved 3, so they've taken 2 hits. Okay, so 2 hits on these guys. They've got 6 hits on them. Saving on 4 5s and 6s. They save 2, which means they take 4 hits. So they have a morale crisis test. They've rolled an 8, which means they have passed. Okay, so now they'll both suffer disarray, and the next time they fight, it'll only be the front ranks for both of them. So they're both at disarray there. Jeez, they are just brawling. Okay, so that's that combat done. So the next one we have to resolve, if we just move along the battlefield, will be this one here. Front ranks only fighting, so the Billmen will have 6, hitting on 5+. They've got 4 hits on those archers. They will fight back with 3. If that, because they only get half a rank, so it's 2 actually. And they got 1 hit on the Billmen. Will the Billmen save? They save on a 4+. They do. The archers have got 4 hits. They saved 3, but took 1. It's still all the same going to be a morale crisis test for them. They need a 9+ on 2d6. They rolled a 12. Wow. And that just leaves this fight here. Mind you, they're below half strength, so they're going to have to do a morale crisis test at the end of the turn. Okay, here is just one big brawl now. So it's going to be 11 dice there. And they'll inflict an automatic 2 hits from that guy, plus an automatic hit from York. So that's going to be 3 automatic hits. Plus another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Another 6
from the horsemen. So the next one we have to resolve, if we just move along the battlefield, will be this one here. Front ranks only fighting, so the billmen will have 6 hitting on 5+. They've got 4 hits on those archers. They will fight back with 3, if that, because they only get half a rank, so it's 2 actually. And they got 1 hit on the billmen. Will the billmen save? They save on a 4+. They do. The archers have got 4 hits. They saved 3, but took 1. It's still all the same going to be a morale crisis test for them. They need a 9+ on 2d6. They rolled a 12. Wow. And that just leaves this fight here. Mind you, they're below half strength, so they're going to have to do a morale crisis test at the end of the turn. Okay, here it's just one big brawl now. So it's going to be 11 dice there. And they'll inflict an automatic 2 hits from that guy, plus an automatic hit from York. So that's going to be 3 automatic hits, plus another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Another 6. From the horsemen. All right, so they're hitting on 5+. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 hits. So that's a grand total of 7 hits all up on the men-at-arms. Fighting back, the men-at-arms have 2 automatic hits from Somerset. 1 and 1, I guess. And they've got a grand total of 7 guys. Which gives them another 4. And we'll split this between their opponents, I guess. 5 on those guys. And they got 3 hits. And 6 on these guys. And they got 1 hit. So the men-at-arms, the billmen, they saved. No hits on them. The cavalry save on 4+. They took 1 hit. So 7 hits, saving on anything but a 1 or a 2. They've lost 3 men. So they have lost the melee. It's a morale crisis. They need 9 or better. 5.
so they will, well, they don't break, but they're daunted, and they'll go directly away. So it would be in that direction, meaning these billmen will follow up and crash into those guys. The next card out would be the bonus card. Grey is the Yorkists. 6-1, yeah. Which is, well, it's a dummy, so it doesn't help them any. Well, the next card out is Oxford, but before we do that, we've got a couple of morale crisis tests to do, because these guys, and these guys have seen troops of a higher level of morale, or a higher standing, retreat past them, being the men-at-arms. So let's test for the bow and bill unit. Okay, they're at a -1. So they've rolled a 9, which is 8, so they're fine. These guys here, they're at, they need a 9 or better on 2d6. They've failed. So they are going to bolt to the rear. And so they're out of there. Well, Oxford's got 2 commands. He'll give one to these archers. They'll fire at their opposite numbers. 11 dice at them and 10 dice at them. The 11 first, shooting at those billmen, hitting on 6s. 2 hits. Being billmen, they'll save on 5s or 6s. Sorry, they'll save on 4 5s or 6s. And they save 1, so they'll take a second casualty. And now 10 dice. At the men-at-arms, hitting on 6s. 1 hit. And the men-at-arms save on anything but a 1 or a 2. Oh, in the tray, please. 1. Okay, so they take a second hit too. So 2 hits on them. The next card out is Edward. Okay, well, he's busy fighting. So there's nothing for him to do. Rutland, he's busy fighting. Somerset, well, he's back here. Well, he could use a command to get out of dodge, and he will. He'll head towards these guys over here. Now he's got 8 inches of movement, so that gets him there. So he's trying to get back to these chaps in the rear. Next one out, Yorkist, Skirmishes, and Artillery. So they'll fire across here at those guys. 6 dice, hitting on 6s. No hits, and only 1-1. And that leaves the last card, which is Exeter. And because it's the last card, it doesn't get used. So that ends turn 6. We just need to do morale crisis tests. The horsemen are below half strength. So it's 1d6 plus 6. Oh, geez. In the tray, Scott. Oh, they rolled a 6 again, so they're fine. Doherty horsemen there. And then we have the archers over here. They're below half strength as well, so they'll need an 8 on 2d6. And they've rolled a 10, so they're holding tight as well. The final morale crisis test is for these guys because they have to test because they're below half strength. Okay, so you can see that they have to do immediate crisis tests if they've seen friends flee past or they've lost a melee. And then if there's another trigger at the end of the turn, for example, more than half the men are down, then you do another one. Okay, so these guys here, they need a 9 or better on 2d6. And they roll a 4, which means they break. So these guys just dissolve, and that means they lose another coin to their opponents. So they're out of here, and that ends turn 6. So now we begin turn 7. The situation is pretty dire for the Lancastrians. By pure points, the game's pretty much over. The Yorkists are victorious, but we'll play one more turn for no other reason. I'm keen to just see how some of these melees finish up. Okay, so we've shuffled the deck. And the first one out is Somerset. Okay, that's easy. He's going to use 1 to move himself. And because he's Commander-in-Chief, he can order any unit at all to do anything. So he's going to order this unit to advance and then shoot. Okay, so it's a mass crossbow unit. Now, there are no rules for mass crossbows in Billhooks. So I've got my own house rule for them. Essentially, they have unlimited ammo. They have a maximum range of 12, so they don't have the same long range effect as longbow. Short range is still 9 inches. They can only ever fire once in a turn because they have a slower rate of fire. And they wear the same kind of armor as billmen. So when they're shot at, they save on a 4+. That's just to simulate the fact that they've probably got better armor being professional crossbowmen as opposed to the longbowmen. So yeah, 12 shots. They're shooting at these guys. They're within 12. They're not quite at 9. So they're 12 inches. So 12 shots. They could fire the 6, move, and then 6. That's another house rule I allow them to do. But anyway, it's an experimental troop quality for these rules. So anyway, hitting on 6s. 1, 2, 3 hits. Out, that's pike. 3 hits on the billman. Billman save on a 4+. And they saved all but 1. So another casualty on the billman. Okay, so now you've seen crossbows in action. Next card out after Somerset is... Oh, it's a bonus card, so we're going to resolve some melees. Okay, so we've got that melee to resolve here. Both disarrayed, both only get the front rank. Edward's involved, so he inflicts 2 hits automatically. 6 dice each. We'll do the billman first. There's 3 casualties on them, not 5. Hitting on 5s and 6s, well, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. So 5, and that's 7 hits on these guys. So that's pretty brutal. And the pike fight back with 6, hitting on 5s and 6s. And they've got 2 hits. Billman save on a 5 and a 6, 4+, sorry. Well, they didn't save any of them, so that's 2 hits. So they're up to 5 casualties. 7 hits on the pikemen. And they save on 4+ as well. they've saved 4, but didn't save 3. So that's another 3 dead. And, wow. They lost the Malay because they suffered 3 casualties and they suffered 2. A morale crisis test. And they've rolled a 5, which means they are daunted. So they will go back 9 inches. What's left of them. And that's game. Because that will cost them another flag. And it's all over Red Rover. There is only one more Malay to do, which is this one here, but it's pretty much inconsequential. It's 11 versus 6. Plus there's 2 automatic hits coming in from this guy here. But I'm going to wrap it up there, guys. Okay, so that concludes the Battle of Lockdown Moor, which is a loosely based on the Battle of Tewkesbury. And I think what it shows is that Never Mind The Billhooks could easily be scalable to larger battles, and I'm pretty certain that's exactly what's happening. I'm pretty sure Andy Callan is doing that. He's going to produce a big battles version of this. These set of rules, I really like them. I think what you would need to do is one of the things that will have to happen is commanders will need to have additional command ability to control larger, more. So there are going to be more units in their ward, so they need to have more command abilities. Maybe they just automatically get a free move. They don't need to use a command action to give themselves a move. Or maybe, as I've done here, they've got an option. They can either use a command initiative to get themselves to where they need to be at that time of crisis, or they issue their orders, everybody moves, and then at the end of the turn, part of the end of the turn process is they simply move a set distance to a better position to posture, to put themselves in a better position to command in the coming turn. Mass crossbows, like I said, the way I've done it is I've just simply I've reduced their range, I've increased their penetration, reduced their rate of fire, but I've given them the option to either fire in mass, so shoot all 12, or they can fire, move, and then fire, but by rotation. So half shoot, and then the other half shoot at the end of the move. That gives them a little bit more tactical flexibility, I think, and I give them a little bit more armor, because I think generally speaking, crossbowmen were probably they tend to be more professional troops, I think, because you think of things like the Genoese crossbowmen and the like. And so, in mass, I mean, obviously, you could give them pavises, and the pavises were carried on their backs most of the time, so they simply just had them on their backs. They went forward, shot, and then they simply turned around, and as they reloaded or prepared their crossbows, they turned their backs to the enemy and presented the pavise to give them protection. So I've just abstracted that to just say that they've got the same kind of armour as billmen and pikemen, which is more than an archer gets. But yeah, thoroughly enjoying these rules. If you haven't had given them a go, Never Mind The Billhooks, available through War Games Illustrated. I highly recommend them. I think they're a really good set of rules, and beyond what they're initially written for. So yeah, they can be expanded to fight much larger battles. Have I got anything else to say when I wrap up? I can't really think of anything else to add, guys. If you've got any questions, put it in the comments below. To John Lennon, the guy that made the comment in the last video that I needed to jump up and down, spin around, and just shake the camera around a lot more. Hey, mate, you're awesome. Thanks for the comment. Really constructive, really helpful. You know, you don't sound sarcastic or bitter at all. Thanks for that. I mean, guys like myself who put these videos together, okay, we're not professionals, so we really, really appreciate that input. I mean, man, you are a gem. I really appreciate it. And I'm really sincere. So John Lennon, mate, you're a champion. What can I say? Absolute rolled gold. Top shelf. Yeah. All right, mate. That's it for us, guys. Cheerio for now. And, yeah, if you've got nothing nice to say, scroll on. If you've got some constructive criticism, however, really keen to hear it. Thanks very much, guys. Remember, like, share, and subscribe if you find this worthwhile. And let's not get carried away. I ain't no Cecil B. DeMills. But I do appreciate any feedback that you give. And subscribing is really the best way you can support my channel. I'm not a patron. I don't take money for anyone. I'm doing this purely out of the love of the hobby. And if I see products and rules sets out there, miniatures that I think are really good, I'm more than happy to do reviews and place them up on the channel as well. But that's it for today. That's the last of this battle. Not sure what we'll do next. Probably I'm looking at playing a game of starting a new pint-sized campaign for Chain of Command. There's a young fellow that's drafting a new point-sized campaign, and he has sent it to me to play test. So I'm keen to give that a crack. So next time I see you, we might find ourselves fighting somewhere in Normandy, 1944. Until then, give a quote.